Welcome to Today's Homeowner with Danny Lipford. Expert advice on improving your home from remodeling contractor Danny Lipford and the home improvement pros from Today's Homeowner magazine.
Well, welcome to the show this week. You know, kitchen remodeling over the years has consistently been one of the most popular home improvement projects and one of the best ways to spend your home improvement dollars because of the great return of that investment when you sell the home. Well, the owners of this home have lived in the house for about 4 years, and they realized when they bought the house they were going to have to do something with their out-of-date kitchen. Well, over the years, they've gathered magazine articles and recently worked with a certified kitchen designer to develop a very unique floor plan for their new kitchen. And all of that work starts today. We'll take a look at the demolition of the kitchen, we'll talk with the homeowner, we'll look at the plans, and show you a lot of information about cabinets, countertops, and everything you need to consider if you're about to remodel your kitchen. Stay with us. Welcome back. You know, one of the most exciting times on any remodeling project is the very first day. You know, after spending months and sometimes even years putting together your ideas and getting them down on paper, it really is exciting when the work finally starts. Now, Lyda Cotton, our homeowner, is on the job site today taking one last look at her out-of-date kitchen. Well, Lyda, are you sad with your empty kitchen here?
Not really. We're excited about the changes coming.
Well, you know, a lot of times when we're remodeling kitchens, we're looking for ways to expand existing areas, but here you have so much room. What really motivated you and your husband, Terry, to do this kitchen remodeling?
We wanted to update the kitchen area. We were kind of tired of the faded out cabinets.
Well, they are a little yellow. I'm sure they weren't that color when they were painted. I understand the new cabinets will be a stained cabinet.
Yes, we're looking at a cherry finish, a light cherry.
Okay,
right
all right. I understand you're still
we're
working on those countertops.
Working on the countertops. Haven't nailed that one down yet.
There's so many choices out there. It does make it a little difficult to make those decisions.
A lot of them.
Well, I know you've been working with a kitchen designer on developing the new floor plan. Let's take a peek at this just rough drawing that we have. And one of the most significant changes will include the removal of this wall that's in front of us to really open that up to the breakfast area, and removing all of this wall that'll open it up to the den. And you know, one of the big benefits I can see already from that is the windows that we have out in here. You'll really be able to get some light into the kitchen area.
I've missed not having natural light in the kitchen. We've got 2 double windows in the breakfast room and then an additional one in the dining room. And once they cut this new door here, we'll have all that light.
Yeah, that'll make a big difference. And I really like how you've positioned the sink over here instead of where it is now. That's going to kind of get you more connected with your family in the den area.
I think it will. I won't feel as isolated in the kitchen, and this will be facing the family room out here. I can see the kids sitting up here on the raised bar area doing their homework.
You can also keep an eye on Joe and Sarah when they're doing that homework. Well, now the island, this is another thing that's very popular in kitchens, but so many people want islands, but they just don't have enough room to accommodate them, and certainly you have enough room here, and that'll give you a little more prep area there as well.
More prep space, and we're hoping to put the trash pull-out drawer in here. Right now my trash is in the pantry, and I don't like keeping my trash with my food.
Sure, I don't blame you. Plus, that's kind of out of the way to go throw something away.
It is.
Okay. Well, you mentioned the new door going in over here, and that's probably quite a problem for you with the traffic running right through here to get to the dining room. Having that corner to kind of reclaim that corner for cabinetry, and then moving the traffic back over here is really going to make a difference as well.
I think it will, and the raised bar will also have a space right through here that you can go through the dining room. And it'll flow so much better.
That's perfect. We'll take one last look because the workers are on their way in to tear your kitchen up. Well, the homeowner really won't be surprised when she comes by to check the job site this afternoon. In just one day, all of the cabinets are gone, all of the walls and ceiling are completely stripped out. I've just taken a look at some of the floors and how they kind of evolved over the years. Here's the top layer here. and then at some point they had this color in here, and then I see a darker color over there. It's always interesting when you're doing demolition to see what's taken place over the years. The next step is to remove this entire wall, and also a good bit of trenching is going to have to take place because the sink drain is here and it's going to end up way back over here, so we're going to have to trench out in the floor in order to get it over to the new location, and then that whole wall will be removed. We'll show you all of that because that's our next step right after this simple solution.
Get ready to review your fix-it list as Danny and today's Homeowner Magazine repair and maintenance editor Joe Truini show you this week's simple solution. Brought to you by Dodge.
Well, Joe, what are you into today?
Hey, Danny. I'm just setting up this extension ladder because I have to work on the side of this house reattaching the TV cable.
Now, a ladder can be a big source of falls around the home, so you need to make sure when you're working on your ladder, set it up right off the bat.
One problem homeowners often have is that the bottom of the ladder has a tendency to slide away from the house as they're working on it. To prevent that, I've driven two 2x4 stakes into the ground. These are about 20 inches long. Then I screwed a 2x4 brace to the two stakes. When you cut this brace, it's always a good idea to make it about 12 inches longer than the width of the ladder. In this case, it's about 28 inches long.
Now, what about when you're setting it up in terms of the angle? I've seen some homeowners that'll stand it straight up, others that'll kind of make it real, maybe too lazy. So what's a kind of a general rule of thumb?
Well, what you want is the distance off the house to be about 1/4 the height of the ladder. So in this case, we have about 12 feet tall of ladder. So I set this about 3 feet off the house.
Okay, now another thing I've seen a lot is homeowners painting the eaves of their house or whatever and reaching out a little too far, and the ladder slides, boom, they fall over.
Right, well the tip there is when you're on a ladder, always keep your hips within the vertical rails of the ladder. That'll prevent it from sliding to the left or right.
Okay, also when you're positioning your ladder, make sure it's on good solid ground, good level ground, and not on any snow, ice, or mud that can cause it to slip. Now, if you'll follow these tips, your work on the ladder will be a lot safer. Now, our guys have really been busy on this kitchen remodeling project, and one of the biggest changes is the installation of the laminate flooring. You know, homeowners have to make so many decisions when they're remodeling the kitchen, and the flooring decision can really be a tough one because there's so much out there to choose from. Well, these homeowners knew they wanted a laminate flooring because of the durability of this type of flooring, but they thought they would end up with a wood look like we have here. There's a number of different great looking wood look floors available in the laminate floor, but once they got out and started looking around, they realized it's almost endless the type of look you can end up with. There's ceramic looks of all kinds, there's a slate finish look, there's just almost any kind that you would want and any type of color variation to create the right type of floor for your kitchen. They chose this particular one because it'll really complement their choice of cabinet stain as well as their countertop selection and the color they've selected for their wall. Also, they like the fact that it came in a 15.5 by 15.5 size so that it continued the spacious feel to the room that they really wanted to achieve with this kitchen remodeling project. Now, laminate flooring starts with cleaning the floor well and then laying down this thin pad, this foam pad. This goes right down on the floor, and it has a little adhesive strip that will attach it to the piece of foam next to it. And after that's down, then you're ready to install the other pieces. Now, you don't really glue this floor down. You actually glue it together with the adjacent tile, and that way you maintain a good, consistent floor without it being adhered to the pad itself. Also, a lot of homeowners really like the fact that it cushions your step as you're walking across it because a lot of people spend a lot of time in their kitchen. Now, one part of this kitchen remodeling involves relocating a number of drain and water lines and electrical for the new location of several of these fixtures. Originally, the kitchen sink was here. The new location will be over in the corner. So we had to provide a trench for the water and drain lines to route over to this area. Also, the same was true for providing a trench all the way over to the new location of the prep sink or secondary sink that will be positioned on that side of the kitchen. And while we were at it, we had the electrician provide us some conduit and an electrical line here that will take care of an electrical outlet in the island as well as the trash compactor that will be installed there later. Now, you know, the big trend in kitchen remodeling, as we've mentioned a lot of times on the show, is to really enlarge the area and remove any walls so that you can really encroach into breakfast rooms and dens to really open up that space. Well, we removed these two walls, but not without a lot of consideration of the load-bearing capacity of these walls. Because when the house was originally built, this was the back wall of the house. Kitchen sink was here. You had a window overlooking the backyard. Well, a few years later, a few years ago actually, the homeowners had an addition built here that added 8 foot to create this new breakfast area, and the same footage was added over in the den to create a larger den or great room, even added a fireplace over in that side. So to remove these walls, we really had to look carefully at what was in the ceiling to see if it would support this span that we've created. Well, the bricks from the second story actually sit right on the beam that was positioned when they built the addition. Well, we supplemented that with additional beam work to carry the load so that we wouldn't have any problem with any sagging or settling in this area. Now on that side, it sits on a number of 2x4 studs in the wall. On this side, no problem. We've got a good steel I-beam that was installed when they built the addition. Now we'll cover this with a wood panel so that the stained color here matches the cabinets. And to really balance that out, we'll create another column on this side built the same way with the wood around it. Even though it's a non-load bearing situation here, it still will help balance out the room and give us a great place to bring our electrical lines down for an electrical outlet and a switch. We'll talk about the electrical a little bit later. Stay with us. Next is our best new product.
It's time to check out this week's best new product with Danny and today's Homeowner Magazine Editor-in-Chief, Paul Spring. Brought to you by the Home Depot.
Okay, Danny, quick quiz. Why is this a best new product?
Well, it has to have something to do with the hose not coming out of the shop vacuum, because it always does on mine when I'm pulling it around the shop.
All right, but don't expect a gold star because they painted the main feature red. Yeah, you're right. There's a locking mechanism, as you can see right here, that keeps that hose positively locked, so you can pull it along. And what I love about this is you can't tip it over because it's only 22 inches high and it's broad based, unlike an awful lot of shop vacuum cleaners. They're all 16-gallon capacity, but this one just doesn't tip.
Well, with it being so low, you can kind of tuck it under the workbench real easy as well.
You can. And of course, this is wet dry, and that's something you want in your shop, however big or small it is. It's with the big capacity, as you can see, you're able to both dry and wet, get an awful lot in there before emptying. And in the case of liquids, you can use this drain down here. Instead of taking the top off and dumping it out, water's awful heavy, you just open the drain right here.
Okay, and reading over this now, what is this? 170 mile per hour blowing port.
Well, unlike the vacuuming part, which is 165 cubic feet per minute, you measure blowing, just go over to the exhaust port right over there.
Okay.
Use that same positive lock. You measure blowing in miles per hour, and you develop quite a wind speed coming out of the end of that hose for cleaning your driveway or whatever it may be.
Sure sounds loud to me.
30% quieter than the competition. It's made by Craftsman, runs $119 list.
Well, there's definitely a lot of excitement around this kitchen remodeling project because all of the cabinets have arrived from the manufacturer. Now, they've all been strategically placed in this large room so that the ones on this end are the first ones to go into the kitchen. Now, one of the first ones that the carpenters have installed is the pantry cabinet here in the corner. All of the shelving will be installed a little bit later, but this is a good starting point so that they could have this one in the corner and start working on the wall cabinets. That started with establishing a level line so that they could start with the corner cabinet. One of the most important things in hanging the wall cabinets is to secure them well to the wall. This means making sure you're screwing into the wall studs, not just the wall board. Now, some of the smaller cabinets are screwed together before they're even put on the wall. Of course, each unit that you install has to be level and plumb. Now, one of the many nice features in this kitchen are the glass doors that are on the cabinets over where the prep sink will be located. Now, this will be a perfect spot for the homeowners to showcase some of their nicer glassware. Now, since this kitchen will have under cabinet lighting, we're drilling holes in the back bottom edge of the cabinets to route the electrical wires through. With most of the wall cabinets installed, it's now time to concentrate on the base cabinets. Now, the way we started on the base cabinets is to basically line them up with the top cabinets. The area I'm standing in here is where the range will be installed, as well as the vent hood a little bit later. So what we want to do is just align these up real good and straight, coming up and down here, as well as use the level to make sure that it's good and level from side to side, as well as from front to back. Now, with all of that established, we can really use this as our starting point for the rest of the base cabinets, which we've done here in leveling over this way, and it's a good time to kind of double check to make sure you have the proper spacing for the appliance to go in. So measuring here, we have the 30 inches we need for our range, as well as the 30 inches we need for our new range vent hood. Now we continue on around this way, and Nick was just finishing up attaching this Lazy Susan corner cabinet to the adjacent cabinet, because with the Lazy Susan, it won't attach to the wall anywhere, so we really needed to secure this well. Now, of course, the Lazy Susan is available in a number of different styles. This one's perfect for this kitchen with the doors that fold together, tuck right into the corner. Now, up to this point, we've had to do very few alterations to the cabinets to be able to install them. But this base cabinet's a little bit different. Mark's in the process of laying out the marks and the cuts that'll be necessary to slip this base cabinet over all of the drain and water lines, because this is where our prep sink or secondary sink will be installed. Now, we'll also have to drill a hole in the bottom of this cabinet for the electrical line to come up inside what will be a nice island right in the middle of the kitchen. We'll have a roll-out drawer here, also a trash compactor beside it, and an electrical outlet mounted on the side. Now, basically, all of the cabinets have been installed in this kitchen, and we're really getting down to the details, such as the installation of the crown molding along the top of the cabinets, as well as a number of organizational accessories that will be installed in a number of the cabinets. Also, a custom piece of cabinetry here to house a raised dishwasher, a real popular trend in kitchens these days. Now, stay with us. When we come back, we'll give you a peek of the finished kitchen.
Now let's go outside for Around the Yard with Danny and lawn and garden expert Barbara Katz. Brought to you by Scott's Lawn Products, for a great lawn, guaranteed.
Now, I know this is a black-eyed Susan, but I know very few of the other plants that I have in my yard. What do you think about labeling each of the plants in your yard?
I think it's a great idea. I mean, I do know about 100 different plants easily in my garden, but I've used a lot of different varieties of the same plant, and I just forget. So, you know, you can go to the store, there's a whole variety of labels there. There's something like this, which is just real simple. You use your marker. Something like this is a little bigger and easier to read, but I prefer the smaller ones because I can just tuck it in behind the plant, and I know it's there, but it's not obtrusive. Now, something like this, which is a decorative label, is actually quite attractive and is going to look nice in front of this lavender.
I can see where these would also be real handy, say in a fresh vegetable garden that you've just planted, and maybe you planted a couple different types of tomatoes, and you can really label each one of them so that when they come up, you know exactly what you have there.
Absolutely. And one of the other things is in gardening, sometimes you've got plant material which is going to go dormant in the springtime. It's just going to disappear. And if you haven't given it a marker, you're not going to know it's there.
Now, I discovered a little more economical way to mark my plants. I have an old set of window blinds that I was able to take one of the pieces of the blinds and then use a cutter to cut me a little point on the end. And now I'm going to take my little permanent marker and I'm going to mark all of my plants if you'll tell me the names of them.
Today's Homeowner with Danny Lipford is brought to you by Ryobi Power Tools and Outdoor Power Equipment, Pella, viewed to be the best, Dodge, different, Scott's, for a great lawn guaranteed, and the Home Depot, where low prices are just the beginning. Additional support for today's Homeowner with Danny Lipford is provided by these sponsors.
Now, we really made a difference in this kitchen over the past few weeks. You know, we started out with a very out-of-date kitchen that had painted white cabinets and also a feeling of not much space in the kitchen because of the walls that surrounded the kitchen. Now, with the new rich cherry finish cabinets and the new layouts, really made a big improvement on this, one of the most important rooms in the house. but the best is yet to come, with installation of solid surface countertops, appliances, and a lot of bells and whistles that'll really make this kitchen unique. We'll see all of that in next week's show. I'm Danny Lipford. We'll see you then.